Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I'm your host, Henry Harris. It's such a delight to have a dear friend. His name is Thomas Walter. He's a pianist, very talented, very gifted. And I don't remember how we came in contact. I believe I saw, I think it was through Facebook, and I was looking through some of your content, and I was very impressed. And from the first
Thank
time that I seen you play, and I know we've been trying to work something out with our schedules and meet here and meet there. It seemed like nothing was working out. I said, well, maybe we have to do it virtually. So I'm glad we get to meet this way, and it's such an honor to have you on the show today to talk about the piano and you playing the piano. And the first question I would like to ask you, Thomas, is at what age did you? I did read your biography; it was very impressive as well. But at what age did you develop a interest in the piano?
so thank you. So actually, in 2018, I moved into the city. I did live on the outskirts of Lebanon for a while with my grandmother. We ended up moving into the city. When I moved in the city, my other grandmother, it was in August when we moved here. When we moved into the new house, my other grandmother surprised me with an early Christmas present of this keyboard. And it was in August 2018 when we moved here. And when first time I went to the piano, it was with no prior musical experience. I played When the Saints Go Marching In with one finger. And that's when it all started.
That's awesome. And that leads to the next question. According to your bio, you say you sat down for the first time at the piano with no prior musical experience. And to those that are watching, that just simply means nobody at that time in his life taught him what the key of C was or A flat. I play the piano too. I have a similar story to yours. It's not quite the same.
And you're
But
really good too.
well, thank you. It's definitely a gift that comes from God. Um,
Definitely.
I'm very impressed with how you play. So he has no prior musical experience, and you say you played when the Saints go marching in. But I like how you worded it in your bio. You said you played it with one finger.
It was literally that. I may have even missed a couple notes for doing that.
And that's just amazing. So with that being said, was that the defining moment for you? Like, was that the moment where you said, "Okay, I think I can see a career in this. I think this is something I see myself being passionate about." Because just because somebody does something doesn't absolutely mean that that's something that they're going to do in their life. So when
Exactly.
you did that,
Well, a fun fact about me, I've always loved music. Even growing up, Signing Time was one of my favorite kids shows. And, with the singing and the pizza song and all those great songs. So I grew up, loving music, but I never had, the opportunity to be able to play whatever song I wanted at the tip of my fingers. So as a teenager, to be able to sit down at the piano and play any song I wanted. Now, mind you, I can't play by ear. How I did When the Saints Go Marching In, I have no idea, but I have to read sheet music. I do use my ear when I'm doing like creativity and arranging, but as far as the melody notes, I have to read the sheet music. So I had a cheat sheet and I would write down the notes of each melody line. Then I would play that on the piano. And to be able to play any song with the melody whenever I wanted to was just the biggest, it was like heaven to me. because I
Yeah.
always wanted to be able to play music. Well, I shouldn't say I always want to play music, but I always had a love for music. And so be able to play any song at my fingertips is when I really found out that I really loved music.
That's amazing. So you mentioned in your bio as well about your teacher. I don't remember her name, but
Becky
elab-
Lake.
elaborate a little bit about her. How did you come in contact with her? When did you? Was it through
So,
her that you learned how to read music, or what? How did
yes.
she? How did she come into play with
So
this?
this is actually a fact that I actually forgot to put in the biography, but I actually taught myself for 6 months piano because I had a whole bunch of piano, like John Thompson books that came with this keyboard,
So
and
you
so I
didn't
taught
you
myself.
didn't you didn't go to her like brand new then. Like you were
No,
already invested in this.
exactly. So how I came across her, of course, I taught myself for 6 months, and I was able to read the melody lines, but I was still having problems with harmony and the counting, and a lot of stuff in music theory that needed to be brushed up. And of course, trying to learn music theory by myself was just out of this world. So my other grandmother, who gave me this keyboard, actually knew Becky Link from years ago.
Mhm.
And if you ever come to Lebanon, Missouri, you may hear of Dawson Hollow or the Link Union. She's the mom of all those kids, and she's made part of that. And she taught piano. So my grandmother actually directed me over to her. And so in 2019, it was actually the first time after I played on stage at my church in 2019
Mhm.
that I actually started going to her, and I actually still go to her now in music theory.
Oh, I see. So, um, it also mentioned that you were rated college level by judges of a Seventh-day Adventist orchestra. Now, I want to ask you this question. Tell us, how did that make you feel? Because some people, and I've watched you play, impressive is like an understatement. It's like, I don't know what word, what
You're too
spectacular,
kind.
spectacular, extraordinary. I don't know. There's really nothing that can define how great you are. And I'm not just saying it to be saying it, but you play with such substance, and I can actually feel your music. I mean, it feels great, and I can tell that you're very gifted in what you do. But when you found out that you play at a college level, according to what these judges determine, how did that make you feel? Because there are some people, like even at the age at where you're at now, it takes them like, I wouldn't say a lifetime, but several years to get to where you're at, and you're already there at such a young age. Which in my mind, I said, wow, can you imagine what Thomas is going to be like when he's 25 or 40? I mean,
You want to know something funny? Dino Kartsanakis actually said the same thing that you did, because I was actually interviewed by him in 2019 at his cafe. And
oh,
he actually said
nice.
the same thing. Imagine how good he'll be when he's 21 and you're saying 25.
So
So on the
how did it
college
make you
level,
feel?
yeah. So on the college level part, of course, I did not expect to get that type of rating at all, because I did not really level myself prior to that. I just played how I could play and just went from there. But a little context behind that: when this whole orchestra thing was inviting everybody online, whether they're Seventh Day Adventist or not, to be a part of this orchestra thing that was actually supposed to be a part of last year's thing, but due to a couple of things, it's moved to this year. Well, when signing up, you had to send in an audition video, and from that, they would rate your level. And then from there, you get the sheet music to fit your level. And so I sent in, I believe it was Down from His Glory medley, which is a finale that I play a lot in performances. And that's the one when they rated me college level. And when I read that, first thing I said is, well, to God be the glory, because it was truly because of him that I was able to get this fast. And to be able to play this way, it's definitely to God be the glory. That was the only phrase that went through my head.
What kind of music do you like playing?
Huh? Say that again, please.
What kind of music do you like playing?
So I actually play a lot of different musical styles, because I absolutely love my favorite type of, from an open perspective, is orchestral music. I love orchestral music. And of course, that's classical, gospel. And, I even love love songs because those are the romantist. I absolutely love romantic melodies, like Somewhere in Time, all those great songs. Then I also love movie soundtracks, basically movie melodies. That's my favorite music.
So I want to ask you this question. Is there anyone that plays the piano that you were inspired by? When I'm 35, but when I was younger, um, I wasn't playing the piano when I was younger, but I did do a lot of speaking. Uh, I was called to ministry when I was at a young age. So I used to speak at youth rallies and stuff like that. But it was not until years later where I didn't realize that I can play the piano. I didn't know this. And it just came natural to me. So when I became familiar with guys like, I don't know if you're familiar with like Liberace or
Oh, yes.
I used to watch Dino on TBN. And for some reason, it was almost literally like I worshiped that man. Like I was like, I love this guy's technique, and I love the way he played. And it was always one of my passions to meet him. But it was always difficult because when he used to come do concerts and stuff, everybody was trying to get a picture. And little did I know that when I was a kid watching Dino play and all that stuff, that he would be on my show 4 times. At least he's been on my show at least 3 or 4 times. I was just there.
Wow.
He just did a thing called Together Again with Dino. I think that was a year or
Yes.
so ago. And I drove
Hmm.
to Branson. And so I would say for me, people like Liberace, there's another guy named Richard Alston. He's been playing since he was like 5 or 6 years old. Very talented, and I would say Dino would be in that list too for me as it relates to the piano world. Um,
Hmm.
when I heard you play the first time, I'll be honest. If I were to close my eyes and not see who was playing, I would have thought that was Dino playing.
You're too kind. Thank
And,
you.
and I'm serious. Like when I heard it, because I mean all the techniques, the arrangements, it sounded like him. So that's why I wanted to ask you, like, who, and it could be more than
Yes.
one person, but who has inspired you, like, in the
So
piano
here's
industry?
so here's actually a fun fact. I actually did not discover Dino until I was around 14 years old. My first piano inspiration was Anthony Berger from Gaither Homecoming videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely fell in love with his arrangement of Goodbye World Goodbye with all the fancy jazz scales and all that stuff. And so when I first started taking piano, he was my main piano inspiration. And here's a fun fact to go along with that. On May 29th or May 19th, in 2019, when I first played at my church, I actually played a sort of like by ear version of Goodbye World Goodbye. And somewhere in my computer, I have that video still. And that was the very first song I ever played on stage. And, nowadays, I honestly can't play that because, you know, music theory wise, my version of that was not the best. But in the moment, it sounded good to people's ears. I just can't do that again now. But that was my main piano inspiration. Later on, I discovered Dino. And when I did, I was just like you. I fell in love with his styling. And so since then, he has been my main piano inspiration. And of course, he's written many arrangements. And he basically was 90% of my, how do I word this? He was basically 90% of what shaped my piano stylings was from him.
You won't be able to see it, but we're gonna put a picture of you and Dino up on the stream. That's him and Dino Carcinakis from Branson, Missouri. Everybody should know who Dino is. Great pianist, and I'm glad that he's a great influence in your life. And so where do you see yourself musically down the road? Like, do you have any inspired dreams? Is there anything else you see yourself accomplishing or wanting to accomplish down the road? And you say you're 16.
Yep, 16. I'll be 17 the 30th of this month, actually.
Oh, nice. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
So,
So,
where do you see
as
yourself down the road, like 10 years
yes.
from now?
So my main focus right now is I'm planning to go to college when I turn 18 for a music major, because I think that would be the best degree to go for. My goal is to become a concert pianist. That has always been my goal. And so I think with some studying of college music, of course, those will be 4 stressful years, but I think they will be definitely worth it. So, and that's actually this year, I'm doing a lot of planning, trying to figure out where I want to go to college and stuff like that. So I'm taking it baby steps, but the main goal is become a concert pianist, first college, then, wherever God leads me.
So, so many people, we talked about this earlier. This is my last question. So many people start something, and for whatever reason, they lose interest. Um, what kept you interested in the piano? What was the passion? What was the drive? What was the push? What makes
So
you
yeah,
want to keep playing and doing this?
So I think it all goes back to the earlier question of being able to play any song whenever I want to with my fingers. I think that's been the number one thing. And of course, music is comforting. It's music is just absolutely so wonderful for the soul. And even personally for me, in times of distress, piano is like my comfort.
Mhm.
And it's just like my best friend. And that's why I spend many hours a day at it, because I have a burning passion for it. And it's basically like, it's a filling of my soul, basically.
That's awesome. Well, I just want to tell you to keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I'm inspired by you and your accomplishments. I can see you going very far in life. Ultimately, because it appears that you always put God first.
Definitely.
That's something that many people don't do. They don't give Him credit for what and who they are. And I know I wouldn't be where I'm at today, whether it relates to my personal life or the success of my shows. I've interviewed Marilyn Hickey, a lot of well known, notable people on the show. I wouldn't be where I'm at today uh, if it wasn't for God. So I'm very grateful. To those that are watching, I hope you enjoyed this interview. If you would like to connect with Thomas Walter, how may they connect with you?
So on all social media platforms, the username is Thomas Walters Music. And when you type that in, I'll be the first one to come up. Be sure you add music, because there's many Thomas Walters in the world. But if you add music, it'll pop up with my channel. I recommend YouTube or Facebook. More YouTube, because you can see all the videos I've created in the past, and you can choose which one you would like. And I would really appreciate your support.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your time on the show.
We hope you have enjoyed today's program. We want to connect with you. Visit us at facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You Show, or visit us on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Henry Harris 100. We're so grateful you tuned in today and hope you have a fantastic day.